Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about the new and latest feature of MineExpress, which is called the Web License. Now, first thing you need to know is when you do an installation of MineExpress, now the first question you get is, do you use a MineExpress protection key on this computer? If you do, then you select yes and you continue the installation until it's finished. If you don't have such a key, then you will get an additional window where you need to select one of two options: fixed license or web license. Now, the fixed license is the license that we've installed up until now. It's actually the license where you need to enter an activation code only once. Once you've activated, the activation is saved, the license is saved on your computer, and you don't need internet connection to start up MineExpress. So this is actually also the license that is installed in case of a demo CD or a demo download. Then you don't even get this question. Then it's automatically installed as a fixed license. Now, the fixed license can start MineExpress for 60 days. So for 60 days, you don't need an activation code, or you don't need to enter an activation code. You can just use MineExpress. Now, the second option is web license. And the web license, after installation, you will need to create a web license account. Now, more about that in a minute, but in the case of a web license, your license is not saved on the device, it's saved on the web. The downside of this is that you need regular internet connection. So MineExpress will verify your credentials when it starts up, and will check a server and then check if your credentials are still valid. Now, the good thing about the web license is that your license is on the web. So if your computer crashes, there's no problem, your license is on the web. And you can also use MineExpress on multiple devices. That means that if you have 5 PCs and you only work on one PC at a time, then you can install MineExpress on 5 PCs, and you just log into the PC where you want to work with the web license, and you're good to go. So you don't need to activate 5 PCs, you only need to make one web account to use the 5 PCs. Now, once you've made your selection, you click next and you finish the installation. After installation of a web license, if you start MineExpress, this is the window that you will see. So you need to enter a username and a password. Now, before you can do this, you first need to click on Create Account. Now, if you do, this is a window that will open up in your browser, and you need to enter your serial number, the one you've received from us. You enter your name, an email address, and then you can choose your own login and your own password. So you just enter your whatever credentials that you want to use. You select I'm not a robot and you click on OK. And then you will receive an email. After you've confirmed, you need to click on the link in the email, and once you do, your chosen login and password will be active. So you can then use them in this window to log in. So you enter your credentials, you click on login, and MineExpress will start. Now, before I continue, I first want to talk about these two options. The Remember Me option. This basically is an option that will allow you to remember whatever you've entered. So that means that you don't need to enter your username and password every single time. But if you click on Remember Me, MineExpress will just remember your data and will log in with the data you've provided. The other option is Do Not Show This Window. So if you have a valid username and password, as long as MineExpress is able to make connection to the server, it will not show this window. So I would actually recommend to check these two options once you have a valid username and password. Now, if you click on Login, then MineExpress will just start through, and you will be able to use MineExpress. Now, the next time I start MineExpress, it will just start up without me having to re-log in. So as you see, MineExpress immediately starts up because it can make a connection to the internet and can verify my web license account. Now, another advantage of the web license account is the fact that you can actually have multiple users. So it's possible to, for example, buy 10 user accounts for your web license. And then what happens is the procedure is the same. So the first time you start, the administrator, for example, of the account will first create an account. In his confirmation email, he will get a link where he can go to an administration page. So he logs in with his credentials, clicks on OK, and then what you receive is actually an administration page where you can add, for example, when you click on the plus, you can add a new user. Let's say we want to add Brian. And that's the way I create a new user license. Yeah, so I can add, for example, 10 users, 10 different users, because you can see that for my serial number I have 20 licenses. And so I can add 20 different licenses, which means that 20 different users can log in with this serial number with their own credentials, and they can work with MindExpress. So this is very, very interesting if you have a multi-user setup. You no longer need the NetHasp dongle that we've had in the past. You can also install MindExpress at home, use your own web account on your MindExpress at home with the web license, and you're also good to go. So then there's only one last thing I need to talk about. In the MindExpress installation folder, there will now be an executable called setprotection.exe. If you start that executable, you will see that you can change the protection type. So for example, for someone who has installed the demo and you want to convert the demo to a web license, then you can simply start this application and choose for web license, or for fixed license, or for a hasp key. So if someone made an installation and they chose the wrong option, you can always tell them to start set protection and choose the right protection. If they click on OK, the protection of MindExpress will change, and once MindExpress starts up, it will start using that new protection type that you've chosen in this application. So this concludes our little walkthrough of the web license. So I hope this has been helpful.